Okay, so this chapter is about developing a .dwg, which is a drawing file from a solid model. So I've opened up something that we drew in an earlier chapter, and this is a solid model, and actually this is one of the labs too, and I don't care if you've got a half round hole here or a rectangular hole, it doesn't really matter. The objective of the exercise is to develop a drawing from it anyway. So this is our IPT file, and up at the very top of the screen, you have a drop down right beside the big I, and you left click on that drop down and you want to go to a drawing. Just give it a few minutes and then it'll establish a drawing for you. The default looks like a D-size sheet of paper. Usually you're probably going to want something smaller unless you've got some way to print something that large. So if you go to Drawing Resources and open it up, and then you go to Sheet Formats, then you can see you have some different choices here. And I chose A-size Landscape. I'll just open that up a little bit more. So even though it says one view, it doesn't mean that you can't use more than one. So double click on that, and then it wants to know, it's just letting you know that you're changing paper. It went ahead and put a view on there for me. If that's not the view that you want, then you can go back to, and I'm going to open up Drawing Resources again, open up Sheet Formats, and then use A-size Landscape. And actually I can look at that drop down and see which one it's going to pick up. So if I'd have looked at that before, I could have clicked on this drop down and I could have chose a different one. Click cancel, click OK, because that is the only one. Then it places that view on there. That may be a little bit big for this sheet of paper. But anyway, you can see that it is at least one, it is one view. If you decide that you do not like the view that this is chosen for the front, you can change that. PowerPoint talks about that. There's a drop down here. And if you change that, set current view as home or set current view as the top or the front. Mine is already set as the front view, so I don't have to do that. But if you did want to reorient it, then you could change this to a view that you wanted it to be. So I'm going to go back to my drawing file here, and I'm going to delete this just so you can see how I create the views if I want to create them myself. So I'm going to left click on base, and you can see it's already given me an idea of what that's going to look like. So I can left click everywhere that I want to view, and then the fourth one that I choose is going to be an isometric. That is the default, and I can click OK, and then I can move these around. Notice that the views are, at least the top and the right side view, are associated with each other. So I just want to move those around to maybe look those better make those look better on the paper. And I can scoot that a little closer. So that way I've got my views, and now I think I will change the scale of the little isometric view up here. And anytime you want to edit a view, you just want to get inside the view where you can see the red boundary, and you want to right click, edit view. So this brings up this text box again, and notice there's a scale here that it chose for this piece of paper. If I don't like that scale, I can change it. Normally with an isometric view, you normally want that to be just a little bit smaller. So I think I'm going to use 1 to 3, and you see it is a little bit smaller. Also, I want to choose to do a shaded view for that one. So I'm going to left click there. I don't want any hidden lines in it, so I'm going to take that off. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that didn't work. Right click, edit view. Okay, it still took the hidden lines. Let's take the hidden lines off. Hidden lines removed. Okay, so I shaded that and I took the hidden lines out, and it looks a little bit different from the other views. So now I want to bring in my dimensions. So first I want to look at my standard for my dimensions. So I'm going to go to Manage, Styles Editor, give it a few minutes. If this is not open where it says Standard, you want to open it up. You want to be sure that this particular one says Default Standard, ANSI. And then over here where it says Active Standard, you want to go to Local Styles, or you can go, it may say Local Styles or it may say All Styles, but you want to be sure to choose Active Standard. If your standard is closed, left click on the little plus sign. You've got Default ANSI, and over here we've got Active Standard. Notice we've got tabs here. Under General, we've got some information. Under Viewer Preferences, we want to check and be sure that the projection type is third angle, which is the standard for the United States. Then we're going to go to Dimension, left click to open that up, and we want to go to the one we're using is Default ANSI, and then we can change our precision if we need to. That's 2 decimal places. If we wanted 3, then we can change that to 3 decimal places. I'll just leave it at 2 right now. If there's anything else that we want to change, we can take off zeros if we don't want them. I'm going to save and close out of this. And now, remember how we dimensioned in our model? And I told you that you'll be able to pull those dimensions from your model, and you can do that. So as soon as I see the red light up around this particular view, I can right click, and we're going to use Retrieve Model Annotations. An annotation is a dimension. So I'm going to left click on that. Now it adds all of the dimensions. I go ahead and just use all of them. So click Apply, and then next side of that. And then whichever ones I don't want to show in this view, why then I can take out. So now I can orient these maybe the way I'd like to see those called out. Some of these dimensions that should be in another view, so I'm going to take that out. Looking at these, that is a reference dimension. I'm going to take that out. This one ought to be dimensioned in another view too. So I'm just going to delete that. So I'm just moving these around where I want those oriented. That one is to a, well, actually, I think I need this one called out. Not sure where that goes. And this is overall. That is establishes me to my 0 point. This one ought to be called out another view too. So see, I've cleaned that up a little bit. That was real easy to do. I don't know why the dimension didn't come over. If there's any dimensions you're missing, you can go to Annotate and the Dimension. So I can call out that thickness. It brings up a text box. This is just in case you wanted to add something typical or all around, or anything that you wanted to add. Okay, I'm going to go to this view. Right click OK to get out of that. As soon as I see the red rectangle around it, right click, Retrieve Model Annotations, and I'm just going to take all of them again. And then the ones that I don't want, I can take out. I don't know why that one's showing up as a reference dimension, but that's okay. Here's a call out for that hole in the center. This is a dimension for that. I think I'm going to take this one out, and then I'm going to use this one. Move this so I can see it a little better. And then I'm going to double click to get inside that one. And I'm going to say typical 2. Click OK. So that one shows up. I believe that is all my dimensions. I've got the inside my rectangle. I've got this one too. That might be a better fit here. I've got that. I believe that's all my dimensions. So I really don't end up with any more that I need to pull from here. It doesn't look like, but I could if I wanted to, if I needed any of those. Okay, let's just look at if we want to use any center lines on the Annotate tab. Right over here, close to Retrieve Model Annotations, I've got a center line. I got a center line bisector when you choose 2 sides, and I can add a center mark if I want to, and then those are just if you have a pattern. So if I want to add I think I'm going to use the center line bisector, and if I click here and here, see it automatically adds one, and I can go back and change those. Whoops. Well, I thought I was there and there. And then I don't usually require these, but I'm just showing you how you can use them. There you go. That's what I was trying to do. Okay, so right click OK to get out of that. And then I can pull these up if I want to see my dash lines. Then over here, same thing with these. If I want to pull those out a little bit more, I can. So you can just see how you can use those if you like. Okay, let's finish this. We've got a title block here, which is the default title block. It's very time consuming to develop your own title block, but probably wherever you work, you'll probably do something like that. What I do in class is I just add some information in here, the name of the college, and then the name of this particular item. So first I need to find text on my Annotate tab. And then I'm going to click where I want to start it. And I'm not real sure what the font size needs to be, but I'm going to go ahead and type and see what it looks like. And I think it needs to be a little bit larger. Right click OK, left double click to get inside of it. And so I need to make it larger. I don't really know how much larger. I think I'll just go maybe 2 times as large. I also want it to be centered, and click OK. And then I may figure out that's too big. I don't know. That actually looks okay. We'll do some more text in here. And this is a U bracket. And I think I'm going to center that too. The size, well, right click OK. It could probably be a little bit bigger. Probably not double the size, but maybe 0.2. Let's see. That's a little bit bigger. And then maybe move that a little bit. Okay, so that is that. And wanted to show you, if you ever want to adjust anything, let's look at one of these. Let's look at this one. Right click, edit feature. I'm sorry, I meant to say edit sketch. Edit sketch. Yes, continue with edit. let's change that to 1 and change this to 0.5. Right click, finish sketch. You see that hole is smaller? I go over to here and voila, it changed here too. Okay, so let's see, what if I change it here? Let me see if I can zoom up on it. Right click, edit. Nope, that's not going to let me change it. Right click, edit model dimension. There you go. Sorry. 1, and then over here, edit model dimension. Change that to 2. Go back to my solid, and it changed back. So you have to love that those are associated with each other, so that you can make changes to one and it makes a change to the other.